Welcome to Empire Rugby League, the Western Front Edition, the only podcast where we talk about everything local WA Rugby League. Joining me as always, Triks. Mate, how are you?
Good, mate. That was a great intro there.
Well done. Thanks. Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah. I've been working on it.
Off to a good start.
Yeah. And Morgz, mate, how are you?
Yeah, good. This is what, take 3 for you? Or?
I think it was take 3. I was working on my Peter picked a pipe of pipple peppers the other day there, just to try and get it right. Cool. So we're going to kick off today with our results. And first thing I want to point out is NAIDOC week here in WA for Rugby League. Everything was done really well.
Yeah, I think a few of the sort of senior clubs hosting games had smoking ceremonies and things like that. Just, you know, that sort of nod to NAIDOC week and obviously the strong Indigenous history of the game, not only here but across Australia. So I think it's just really cool to have that sort of recognition and the governing bodies stuff they put out, you know, sort of some Indigenous artwork in the back of like the designs and stuff like that. It's just good, you know. I liked it.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was very tasteful, very subtle. So we'll jump on to our results. I'll kick off with the Women's League tag. We had South Perth 30 over Joondalup 4. Alkimos 82 over Mandurah 0. Fremantle 10 over Kwinana 16. Kwinana 16 over Fremantle 10. Ellenbrook 18 over Willagee 8, with North Beach having the bye.
And in the third grade, unfortunately, Kwinana forfeited against South Perth. Alkimos 24 over Mandurah 10. Kalamunda 16 over Ellenbrook 12. Rockingham 28 over Fremantle 16. And Willagee 42 over North Beach 0.
And then moving on to Val Murphy, we had South Perth 48 over Joondalup 4. Alkimos 36 over Kwinana 20. Ellenbrook 20 over Kalamunda 14. Fremantle 62 over Rockingham 0. And North Beach 32 over Willagee 16.
And in the Women's Premiership, we had Ellenbrook 72 over Kalamunda 0. And in the live stream game, we had Fremantle 12 over Joondalup 0. And Willagee had the bye. Boys, did you see any of the girls' footy over the weekend?
Nah.
Unfortunately, I didn't catch it either. Sorry, Morgz.
I was just going to say the same thing. Unfortunately, the live stream game being the earlier game this week, I think it threw my whole routine in and then got into the Tour de France and my night was gone. So I can give you a recap of the Tour de France if you tune into our cycling podcast at Brooks on Monday nights.
No, again, I didn't catch it. But the scores... Were these what we were expecting, Beatrix?
Expected Fremantle to get up against Joondalup, continue on their winning ways. Would have thought maybe a few more points from them though. But a little bit disappointed to see Kalamunda not get on the score sheet this week. They've been pretty consistent at posting a few tries on the board, so that's a bit unfortunate. But Ellenbrook seemed to have found their premiership defence.
Yeah, I think I was tipping Joondalup in this one, mainly off the back of the narrative that Joondalup sort of had to win to maintain a chance at finals, being a best of 3 finals in the women's game.
Yep.
Obviously, unfortunately, with that happening, Joondalup's sort of going to require a lot of results to go their way. But I think they're back-to-back reigning premiers, so to see them sort of falling out before finals, it's disappointing, but... Maybe it's the reverse of that is it's showing that the strength in the women's team and other teams coming in and growing and getting better at what they're doing just means that other clubs have to step up. I think the Ellenbrook Kalamunda results about what you expect. Ellenbrook sort of flexing their muscle, Kalamunda fighting hard, but obviously it's been a difficult season for them. We've touched on it any number of points, and I think we just keep on pressing the message to that team and the club, just keep on fighting the good fight, keep on fronting up every week and, keep on giving it a crack, I guess.
Yeah, look, and I think with them, as we sort of roll now towards the end of the season, some teams will be looking towards their posts and off-season and then the next year as well. So I'm hoping that this is not a case of not coming back, that this is just the start of a journey that they can take, and next year we see them come back stronger as well.
Yeah, that's it. Move on. Next year, keep that same sort of squad of players, bring more players in and build rather than it being having players walk away from the game, because that's the last thing we want to see. Don't matter what team, what grade, what
That's
players.
right, yeah.
Moving on to the men's end, guys.
Yep.
South Perth 48 over Joondalup 20, and that was a live stream game. We had Fremantle 42 over Rockingham 36, and North Beach 24 over Willagee 10. Thoughts on these games, boys?
Beatrix, mate.
Sort of not really as convincing as I would have expected from South Perth. Just looking at the team sheet, a few players out, a few really experienced players out. Didn't see any Eddie Prowler or Daniel Green on the team sheet, so not sure what's going on there. Maybe a few injuries, resting them for finals, but yeah, if anyone's got some more information on that, that would be great. Like the Fremantle versus Rockingham game, Rockingham, by all reports, really stood up. It was just a flurry of tries just after half time that put Fremantle on the front, and from all reports, another 5 minutes and the Sharks were coming home. So full credit to all them young guys that are finally finding their straps, and if this is anything to go off of, stick together next year and it could be a good year. And then North Beach Willogy, sort of as expected.
Yeah, I think, again, I tipped Joondalup, so maybe my apologies to the Joondalup club. I think I've kept taking the Sweeney curse and giving it to the Giants. I think I was expecting Joondalup again, same sort of thing. I think they've looked good in the last few weeks. It's hard to know whether, South Perth coming up off the back of 2 losses, obviously missing a few players as we've spoken about. A 28-point win, you're going to take that any day of the week. Maybe letting in 20 points, that's something that we're working on, sort of, that extra defensive stuff, but I guess that's probably the result that most people expected. Freo Rockingham, that's a high-scoring game. That's almost 80 points. That's a lot of points. And I think we've spoken about Rockingham and Joondalup sort of keeping on fighting and keeping on those young boys coming through and the young kids coming through in that pathways. And if you're scoring 36 points in first grade against a team like Freo, with the quality and experience Freo has, something's beginning to click, something's beginning to work. So maybe Rockingham will be the one to throw the cat among the pigeons and upset a few teams running towards the finals. North Beach Willogy, like Beatrix said, probably expected it to be the best quality games around. North Beach, I think, ex-NRL players in your first grade team's never going to hurt you. Bit of muscle, bit of just class. I think North Beach, I don't think they lose another game all year.
Did you actually make that prediction in our last show with the our...
Well, no, I might have said I might have said season. I'm saying now they don't lose a game in finals. I'm adding to it.
Right, wow.
Stay tuned next
That's
week,
huge.
and stay tuned next week, and I'll see how many games they win to start next season.
I actually got a chance to watch the South Perth Joondalup game. It was a really interesting game to watch. The early stages of the game was back and forth, with Joondalup kind of catching them off guard, which I do think we spoke about what they needed to do to try and start rolling over them. But by the end of it, South Perth really clicked into gear. Excuse me. And managed to take it home to a bit more of a tired Joondalup side. From more reports, the Rockingham, I think it was David Quinlan, the halfback, had an absolute belter of a game for Rockingham. So seeing some of that individual brilliance happen for them, because that's the kind of experience that can lift a team together in order to get this score as well. So that's probably one of the best scores that Rockingham have maybe put on.
Just on Quinlan, just talking to a few connections that I've got at Rockingham, he hadn't played footy in 2.5 years, and I don't know if you watched any of the earlier season games, but he did look like he was short of a run. So he's finally finding a bit of confidence in directing the team around. So if they can keep him around next year and build on that, he's got plenty of experience. So
that's
that'll
impressive.
be a good one to have. Yeah.
Anyone coming in after that long away from the game, straight into first grade, I think the body's going to take a bit of a shot, and that's so nice.
Just getting to that match fitness as well. Remembering how to do that.
Yeah.
And Willogy North Beach, I thought this could be pick 'em really, because both of them are going to have their premiership muscle tested in the next few games. But I'm not going to go so far as to say they won't lose another game for the rest of the year. But it's going to be interesting to see how they go.
Back your tips, Sweeney.
You swung me around on Joondalup, and look what happened to them. Poor Joondalup. You brought me in to curse them. So moving on, we have no junior results as their bye was during school holidays. So moving on to our next topic, we've spoken at length here on the podcast.
Did Beatrix enjoy the week off, I think, is what we're going to ask there, Sweeney? Yeah.
No, it was great. Yeah. no, it worked out well. Got to have a bit of family time, so earn a few brownie points coming up to the business end of the season.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's good.
And then you're just burning them by being here tonight to record.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's right. So, yeah.
So, yeah, moving on. Something we speak a lot about here at the Western Front is how the live stream comes about. We've speculated quite a bit, and so what we've done, we've reached out to the people we can about how this is actually put together, and we're going to try and clear up a little bit of confusion. So the response we've gotten has been, we try and get every club the same amount of games as all premiership clubs deserve, the same respect and treatment based on their competition and association fees. You'll notice all clubs get no more than 6, no less than 5, and we try to alter the matchups as well. So in a 15-round season, you don't see, for instance, Fremantle versus North Beach 3 times in a season, regardless of the perceived outcome. So what's your take on this, guys?
I mean, I think there's pros and cons of every possible approach for this. Obviously, clubs deserve their sponsors being put out there. They deserve their name being talked about and stuff like that. So it's if you've got to sort of plan the games out in advance, who knows what's going to be the best game? Like there's games we've tipped that we thought would have been the best round, and they've been not the best game, and others that you think, oh yeah, that's going to be a one-sided affair, and it ends up not being. So for me, maybe the best solution is sort of, instead of it always being the best game, and I'm using air quotes here for all those that can't see me, each and every game for the 15 rounds, maybe the middle ground of, say, the first 10 games of the season, everyone gets, 6 clubs. So even if you say the first 12 games, so everyone gets 2 home games or whatever, or 2 games at their ground, their jersey on the thing, and like they chucked in there, obviously, as the away game. The last sort of 3-4 rounds of the season, then you, like, the run to finals, you know what teams are performing, like where teams are at. Then they are the best game. The game you think is going to be the best game. So if it's 1 versus 2, 3 versus 4, or if it had been 4 versus 5, winner takes the last spot in the finals. That's how you go about it. And obviously, early season, who knows who's going to be the best team? No one knows. Like, you've got teams on paper, but I mean,
we get
you're picking darts out of a
any given Saturday afternoon, isn't it?
But I mean, we've got the response. The response makes sense as well. We're local footy. We're not NRL. It's, if you're sponsoring a team, you're putting into the local game, you deserve to have your business name and your business branding out there. And I think, if you didn't do that, you'd have clubs struggling from, if they had a poor season next year, well, hang on, I'm not going to give you as much money because my brand is not going to be out there like other clubs. And then that's less money into then pay players. Yeah. And then it's a step potential downward spiral. So
I guess at this level for them, it's as much as it is helping the community out, it's still a business decision for businesses to put their sponsorship money in.
If you're putting sponsorship in and you're putting your name on a jersey, or you're like the clubs that have ground sponsors, you want your branding out there, you want that recognition, because if it's going out on social media, if it's going out on YouTube, that's reaching, mate. You could be watching that in China, or
exactly right,
Machu Picchu while you're climbing there, or in, having a pizza in Milan or whatever.
Yeah. There's some really out there places.
Mate, Italy's the new sporting capital of the world. They made the ICC 2020 World Cup. Tedesco, next Italian World Cup winning captain for Rugby League. Why not?
It's very hard to, if part of the club's association fees are going towards paying for the live stream, then it's very hard to not try and be fair with it. My question just is, like, I don't know how much it benefits teams if they're on a live stream and they're getting absolutely pumped.
Yeah.
Especially like if you're trying to recruit players from over east or whatever, because there's not players coming through your pathways, then if they're looking on YouTube going, do I really want to go to this club?
And that's a fair point.
But then, like he said, like the response about you won't see Freo versus North Beach 3 times in a season. If it's going to be a competitive game all the time, like maybe not Freo and North Beach, but like Freo versus Willagee all the time. You got the local derby. You could bring that. You could build that up. You could promote that all through the week or in the weeks coming up to the game.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I think there's a few opportunities where you could build up things like that as well. But
Yeah, I'd love to, personally, I'd love to see a bit more around that local rivalry and the local derby come up in terms of their media build-up and the media hype. So,
but then maybe also that's on clubs to promote as well, like that. So clubs involved in it, that's their rivalry. Like all the clubs have social media. And again, we know what it's like volunteers. It's a stretch doing all this stuff. Trust, we've all been there. We know it. But like maybe that's where the clubs step in and start. The banter on on TikTok or Instagram or
whatever the media platform is. It's allowed them to build up their own hype around what's going on. The live stream's being put on, that's being organised, it's being paid for. Yeah. So if the hype needs to be there, then the onus may be on the clubs to step up a little bit more in that arena.
And the fact is we've got live streams, so I mean that's as a base factor, our game is being live streamed. That's
right.
Awesome.
And I think something we may seem to forget as well is that is the live stream, but every game is recorded and is available on YouTube. Yeah. Either through the live stream NRL Pathways channel, or I believe it's the Goose Step is the other channel that will host all of the games on there.
Well, that's it. So obviously all senior games have to be recorded for judiciary purposes for when Sweeney's a bad boy. So, and maybe that's something as well, promoting that all these games, okay, there's not commentary, but the games are visible. They're all there. Yeah. They're all there. So they're all accessible from Milan. So, there you go.
Yes, back there.
He is. Also, if you want to tune into Morgz' Around the World podcast, you'll have to find that on Spotify.
That is coming soon, ladies and gents.
Look, I think there's some really good ideas there, some really good points, but it's not. Yeah, it's good to get that clarification around how it's all chosen. So good on you, lads.
Watch the live stream this week if you're not there watching it in person or at another ground.
Or in Milan.
That's it.
So moving on to some other things we've chatted about here that we've kind of reached out to get some clarification around. One of them was the recent washout games that happened at, boys correct me, Fremantle?
Yeah,
it's at Treeby, wasn't it? Yeah. And so Treeby, the situation as we understood it was a decision was made to postpone the matches that were taking place there.
Basically, a weather warning, extreme weather warning was in. The decision was taken that it wasn't safe for games to proceed. One of those ones, isn't it? Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Correct, yeah. So, again, we've reached out to get some clarification on that, and the response we received, we are still navigating the ability to get the games that will prove crucial to be played. There were offers on the table before the draw option was sent out, but it didn't fit with teams. It is still being spoken about.
And that's from the governing body, just to clarify as well. That's not
from the clubs. That's from the governing body. So essentially, this is still an ongoing matter that is looking to be resolved.
Yeah, and I think that's enough said on it, isn't it? It's the governing body is going to find a solution that's the fairest and the most just, whether that means playing games, whatever. But I mean, it's been looked at because obviously we are lucky that we don't get washout weekends everywhere. You only look at New South Wales and Queensland; it's every second game's washout because someone left the sprinklers on. So
Brisbane,
we can cope with one. With a couple of games.
Beatrix, how do you what's your take on that? And because I know you were a bit more outspoken about this particular topic.
Yeah, well, there's a few games that there's definitely a game that will have a big bearing on who plays finals. So I'm glad to hear that they are looking at ways to have the games played that are crucial. I don't know if you'd have to play all the games that were washed out, but the ones that are going to have a bearing on the competition, I think definitely should.
Right. So it's nice again to get that clarification that those particular games are going to take some precedence about getting sorted. Cool. All right. So moving on to something very cool that's happening at the moment is our under-17s boys cast and under-18 schoolgirls that is happening. We have spoken a little bit about this as well. There seems to be more and more topics that we're talking about. Luckily, we've had the opportunity to reach out and again get some clarification. So I'm just going to run through quickly the selection process for the boys squad. So the CAS under-18 squad is picked through a few steps. Rookie Rise, which is December to February. Boys have had a little bit more to do with this as well, the Rookie Rise program.
Yeah, so like that's obviously the step above the Rise program, which is sort of under-13s, under-14s, under-15s, so under-16s, under-17s. Yep. Same sort of, I haven't been directly involved with that one, but yeah, it's basically the same sort of process of going through all that playing development skills, personal life development skills, all that sort of stuff. and then from there, a group of players. I think there's about 7 local boys. We're going over to Victoria. I think they went 3 times. I might be wrong there, but about that.
I think it's 2 blocks of 2 weeks.
2. So there you go. So
what it's saying is it's sort of between 7 to 12 of them are sent from here to those camps. But this is with players from NTSA and Victoria, so it is a combined states camp that they're going to. From that particular process, or that part of the process, then there's 40 to 60 player CAS squad. Then 20 are selected to play in the CAS schoolboys. So that's the clarification for ourselves here on the podcast. Myself as well has not really been involved in anything like that, so it's good to hear that and good to get to some background information.
I'd like to, if anyone has any more information on it, I'd like to know the finer details about, like, is there certain fitness levels that you have to hit to get picked in the squad and stuff like that, or is it just all going on playing ability? Do they have like social events so you can see the way that kids react and stuff like that, if they're going to be a good teammate? You know, all that sort of stuff. Cause,
what other markers do they have to hit around that?
Yeah. So that'd be cool to find out that sort of stuff too.
Yeah, cool. Reach out for that. Thank you. So this year we've had 2 players in, but unfortunately one of them, young Ben Cotton, had a hand injury and he's had to pull out from the championships that's on at the moment. However, if you take into account the following, Victoria have never ever lost at under 17s and under 18s CAS championships.
Under 18. So again, I think what that reflects is that obviously Victoria, in some way, shape or form, have had all the development through the Storm pathways and the Storm system. They're getting the equivalent training and upskilling that anyone in New South Wales or Queensland is getting. Obviously, until 2027, we probably aren't getting that. So the fact that we've got players going over there, at the very least, all the boys that have gone over there have been learning off their teammates that have been in those systems. The fact that we said we've got 2 that sort of made the end squad, I think is awesome. Yeah. And it's just the reality of the different sort of boundaries, I guess, in the different situations the different states find them in at that level of footy.
Yeah. Also going off these stats too, so they run Harold Matthews, SG Ball, and Jersey Flegg. So that's all of those.
Yeah, so exactly. They're in the pathway
in the
pathways from when they're 17. So they've already had a year in the pathways before they're hitting that sort of Australian schoolboys, 18s team and stuff like that. So they're, you'd expect the Victorian players to be sort of further ahead than the WA boys.
Just thinking about that as well. I mean, the level, it's such a highly competitive area for them to be in. I guess it's going to look good for us when we have that level here. But those boys that have gone across, that's a really great experience for them, especially to bring home.
Well, that's it. And it's you only have to look at all these under-18 championships from years gone by, and the names you would see in all those teams is littered with players that are, some of the best players in the NRL. So the WA boys, to be open to that, the worst is they come back with that experience of playing against the best players in their age group. That's the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is they get picked up and goodbye WA, hello. Well, I guess it's not goodbye WA because we've got the Bears.
The Bears are coming in.
There you go.
Let's just
I hope Malvin Inger's there scouting us.
Farewell for a while.
Yeah.
Until I return. So that's really interesting for me to find out as well. I'm always the new guy in the room when it comes to a lot of this, so finding some of this information out is always really cool for me. Of the 17s boys as well, we just want to chuck out a congratulations to Crockett Henry for being selected. So with the results so far that we've got for Monday Cast is Queensland had 32 over the Cast 12.
And then New South Wales CHS 44 over Cass Boys 6 in their other result.
Okay.
With still 1 game.
Also, we've seen on the social media stuff, there's been some photos of Crockett in action, so it's good to get some of that feedback as well, and them keeping up with what's happening with him over there.
Crockett Henry, the young fella that's over there actually playing 2024 under 17s state team, Perth Kiwi under 18s in 2025, and for all of the season except for missing out because of the cash tournament, he's been playing in the halves for the Rockingham Sharks in the first grade competition.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
thanks for saving me there, Beatrix. I think I might be suspended again next week after that.
So kid that young to be playing first grade in the halves, that's really, really good. And we got Ben Cotton, who also unfortunately had to miss out on the Cash Championship due to being injured, but I'm sure that'll just light a fire in the belly and make him a better player in the future. But 2024 under-17 state squad, 2024 CAS under-18s train-on squad. So I'm sure that'll make it a little bit more of a bitter pill to swallow. Being there last year in the train-on squad and cracking it this year and hitting a bit of adversity.
Yeah.
But
might go back to
like
the
I
thing
said,
you were
onwards
talking
and upwards.
about. Yeah, it would talk about the level of player it is. It's not just on their playing ability; it's how they handle the adversity and come back from it as well.
Yeah, that's it. Like, there's any number of NRL players that you hear the stories of they're missing these teams or missing the flag or missing whatever, and go and have the long careers. So it's how you be like, okay, this happens, injuries happen, you miss everyone misses games. Whether players miss NRL grand finals or Origin because of injury. How do you step back and be like, hey, that sucks, but I'm going to keep fighting the good fight and use the experience and use what I've learned and going to keep on going, keep on trying.
It's massive for any players from over here to make it into the CAS team. If you look at in that CAS team, there's 6 current players in that squad that play Jersey flag, which is the under-20s comp.
Under-21s, isn't it?
Under-21, sorry.
So that's
a really good comp.
If you're 18 playing under-21s, awesome. You must be pretty damn good.
And then if you look at the rest of them, majority of them are either in SG Ball or Harold Matthews squads as well. So, cool. for a state that doesn't have a rugby league team in town at the moment, to be able to make a squad like that is even more impressive.
Yeah, 100%. It's awesome. So, and then moving on, we're going...
Yeah, so we'll move on to the 18 schoolgirls. Just want to give a quick shout out to the squad announcement and the promo. It's been heaps of fun. I've seen a few of the reels and it looks like the schoolgirls are having a great time over there. And from all understanding, playing some good footy as well. They are over in Coffs Harbour. I didn't actually know that until today, that they're in Coffs Harbour. I thought they were still in Townsville for some reason. But they're at Coffs Harbour. Beautiful. Results so far... we've got Sunday WA were 4 against the New South Wales Combined Catholic Colleges 36. Monday they beat Vic 32-4.
Tuesday they had a win against ACT 24-20 and they still have a game to come on Thursday against NT.
And that's
excellent.
It. And to beat the ACT team, that's very much New South Wales Rugby League. That's the Canberra comp is one of the strongest comps in the country areas of sort of New South Wales, Canberra, and stuff like that. And they've got some of the big rugby league schools like Erindale College and stuff like that. So to beat that sort of stuff, that team of that quality says a lot about
it.
The
Does
WA
it really
team
does?
And, credit to the coach and staff and the whole team, everyone that's involved with that, because that's a massive effort.
Excellent. Are we any more scores? Do we? Yeah, that's cool. Moving on.
Yeah, keep an eye on my league. They'll see they've still got the game against the Northern Territory, so the results for that will be on my league, and obviously the governing body will be sharing that stuff, and I reckon that could be a juicy game.
Yeah, I agree. I think NT have been doing quite well.
Yeah,
so
that's on Thursday at 9:50 a.m. our
time. Cool. So moving on to junior preview for this upcoming weekend. I'll kick off with our under-13s, boys. We have Willagee versus Joondalup at Blue Force Park. Rockingham versus Kalamunda at Ocean Road Reserve. We have Kwinana v Ellenbrook at Thomas Oval, and Fremantle have the bye.
And in the under-14s, boys, we have Alkimos versus Ellenbrook at Heath Park Sports Ground. North Beach versus Joondalup at Blue Force Park. Rockingham versus Kalamunda at Ocean Road Reserve. Kwinana versus Serpentine at Thomas Oval, and Fremantle versus South Perth at Treeby Community and Sports Centre.
And then moving on to the under-14s girls, we have Kwinana versus Willagee at Thomas Oval, and Fremantle versus Joondalup at Treeby Community and Sports Centre, and Ellenbrook have the bye.
And the 15s boys, Rockingham versus Ellenbrook at Heath Park Sports Ground, Kalamunda versus Joondalup at Blue Force Park, and Fremantle versus Willagee at Thomas Oval, with Alkimos having the bye.
And again, we move on to the under-17s, boys, and that's a whole bye. Because
no, that's cool. And as always, guys, anyone that's listening, make sure you get down, hype up all your juniors and the clubs. the Pluto pups, the hot dogs, whatever it is. But make sure you get down and support the kids as they play.
Also, not only get down and support the kids that are playing, if you're around and about and you can help around the club at all, whether it's with ground setup, putting your head in the canteen for an hour, or running the touchline for whatever game is required, then put your hand up.
Yeah, and just keep it helping, like down at Thomas Oval, keeping the hair on the under 14s Kwinana coach. He needs it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's been long. Stress of coaching. All right, let's move on to the seniors. Huh?
Yeah, we'll talk about the seniors. This is devolving quickly, isn't it?
It's a downward spiral.
Cool. So we're moving on. Women's League tag this weekend. We have Joondalup versus Willagee at Admiral Park. Alkimos versus Kwinana at Admiral Park. Mandurah versus North Beach at Franklin Offshore Stadium. And Ellenbrook versus South Perth, Treeby Community and Sports Centre, with Fremantle having the bye.
Third grade this week, we have Mandurah versus Cronulla at Franklin Offshore Stadium. Alkimos versus Willagee at Admiral Park. Rockingham versus North Beach at Franklin Offshore Stadium. Fremantle versus Kalamunda at Treeby Community and Sports Centre, and Ellenbrook versus South Perth at Treeby and Community Sports Centre.
And then on to Val Murphy, we've got Alkimos versus Willagee at Admiral Park, Joondalup versus Kwinana at Admiral Park, Rockingham versus North Beach at Franklin Offshore Stadium, Ellenbrook versus South Perth, and Fremantle versus Kalamunda, both at Treeby Community and Sports Centre.
How's the boys looking in third grade this week, boys?
Hopefully better.
Boys are back.
Hopefully
Boys are back.
Some of the boys are back, yeah. I've been told with no uncertain terms not to tip Kwinana this week, because I seem to be... The Empire curse from Sweeney just seems to be carrying over to everybody. My tipping. My NRL tipping. Hopefully not my NRLW tipping. Look, we're constantly building, which is really good, and seeing some improvement, especially from the younger guys that have stepped up from third grade.
And we'll move on to the Women's Premiership. We have Kalamunda versus Fremantle at Hartfield Park, and Willagee versus Ellenbrook at Hartfield Park, with Joondalup having the bye. And it's good to see the governing body putting out the live stream games early in the week. And we will have Willagee versus Ellenbrook in what should be another great game of footy.
That could be a bone-breaking game of footy. That rivalry, we talk about local rivalries, but I think that Willagee-Ellenbrook, that's the big rivalry now in the women's game. That's no idea who I want to tip in this game, because who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? 12-all draw. Can I tip that?
You're going to tip that now before we put ours out.
I might even tip a draw officially. We'll see. Keep an eye on our socials, guys.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this game. I'm definitely going to be, especially until I see the team list come out. But yeah, Beatrix.
Yeah, so it's going to be hard to tip until you see the team list come out. But it's good to see a top of table clash on the live stream.
Yeah, excellent. And
I think just that Kalamunda Freo game, hope Kalamunda obviously had a hard week against it last week, but back at home, that environment at Hartfield, having to, if you're the away team, you've got to run 5K from the change room to the field. It can be wet, can be cold coming off the hills there. Kalamunda hopefully use that to their advantage and take it out early to Freo, and then see what they can do from there. So.
Yeah, I'm hoping Kalamunda put a score on early and build a little pressure.
Yeah. And then, so moving on to the men's premiership, we have Joondalup versus Willagee at Admiral Park. We have Rockingham versus North Beach at Franklin Offshore Stadium, and Fremantle versus South Perth at Treeby Community and Sports Centre. Thoughts on these games?
Yeah, so the live stream for this one is going to be North Beach v Sharks at Franklin Offshore. That one, look, Sharks put a decent score on last week. Whether or not, I'm not sure if Crockett gets back in time to play. A young man like himself should be ready to kick on again, I would hope. But even if not, I think they've still got the young team that are really building and clicking together. But it's going to be a hard sell against North Beach that are just powering through at the moment.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see as well. I know a couple of teams have rested some players and they've been playing Rockingham in the last couple of weeks. Maybe North Beach, with no buys in the men's comp now, playing week in, week out, amateur level, maybe teams taking it as an opportunity to rest players, maybe it gives Rockingham, if this happens, I'm totally hypothesising here, I don't have the inside word, but, if that happens, Rockingham can take that as a bit of a insult and, fire up and be like, well, stuff you. You don't feel your best team, we're going to come out here and whoop you.
Yeah.
It's there's a growing confidence around Rockingham with the squad that they've got now. Combinations are starting to build because they're playing games back to back together. So that's starting to help. And this game, Rockingham versus North Beach at Franklin Offshore, it gives me a little flashback to 2019 when I was playing there. We were really struggling that year too. Up until that point in the season, North Beach were undefeated, and we beat them 13-12.
You would have been a young man back then, wouldn't you?
I would have been a young man. Yeah, I was only 29. 28. Yeah, but yeah, that was one of my favourite victories in a Rockingham jersey, and
and that's
I'd love to see something like that again this week.
You're 17 blokes out there, 13 on the field. That's what counts. Even when you start the game, it's how you go out there. And North Beach will obviously go in favourites, but that shouldn't mean anything because it's rugby league. We see upsets in every game across everywhere in Australia every week. Reason is what can't go
we can probably use the same logic with Willagee versus Joondalup around resting players. With no buys in the men's premiership. What sort of team will Willagee roll out? I'm sure it'll still be strong regardless.
But of course.
I think Joondalup, if they are resting a few, then they'd have to be full of confidence that they can come up with an upset too.
Yeah, and that's it. And obviously players coming up, they're getting that. They're coming up because they deserve it and they're working their backside to get the shot. But I mean, that's it. Joondalup and Rockingham have got 0 to lose. Yeah. Go out there, play some fun footy, have some fun, and that's what you should. That's what you're doing now because they know the season's. Even if it's not mathematically gone, it's realistically it's gone for both clubs.
Yeah.
So go out there, throw those extra passes, throw that cut out when you might have held it early in the season, see what happens.
Have the fun.
That's it. And then if it comes off the first couple of times, then all of a sudden you're up and about and you're firing, and who knows what can happen. So
you create that roll on momentum.
Exactly.
And then Freo South Perth. I think this will really tell us where South Perth are at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. South Perth obviously got the win last week. A couple of losses before. Obviously they've had some players out. Are they going to be back? If not, I think this definitely will be either the sign South Perth can be a premiership threat or be their victory to their season. Mm-hmm. I think a big loss here, and I think South Perth put a knife in them, they're done.
Yeah,
is that the saying?
Yeah,
put a fork in them. Put a fork in them.
I'll put a knife in. Richards put a fork in. Sweeney,
I'll just use a spoon.
Yeah.
Look, Freo coming off 3 back-to-back wins, reasonably big ones as well, including a win over South Perth in round 10. So, I can't see Freo backing down from that momentum there.
I think once we see the team list for this game especially, I think that will really define which team has to be sort of the big favourites for this game. Players in, players out. Both clubs have had it. That's is common. We know it, but let's see. It could be an interesting affair.
All right, guys. We'll obviously when team lists come out, we'll put our proper tips out. But it sounds there's some really interesting games happening across the 2 premiership grades this week.
Oh, absolutely! Can't wait.
Again, we just want to do a quick shout out to Ben and Crockett for the work they've done and being selected for the cast.
Yeah.
And
as well, just to the other boys as well, that the groups
and the girls.
The boys that went over as well for the cast,
for their camps
and stuff. All that experience they got. It's awesome seeing these guys get the opportunity because even that would be an amazing thing.
Yeah.
2 weeks or whatever it is, focusing on nothing but rugby league. I mean, mate, that sounds like a dream.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. Guys, until next time, remember, train hard, be kind, and love rugby league.